Welcome to Sabi Something podcast, where we embark on a journey of personal growth and holistic well-being. I'm your host, Roland Kamara. And today we are diving into the topic, Continuous Learning and Skill Development, Episode 2. Get ready for actionable insights, inspiring conversation, and a roadmap to cultivate a balanced and fulfilled life. So grab your headphones and let's Sabi something together. The topic for today's episode is Continuous Learning and Skill Development 2. And in the studio, I have Mr. Cyril Macaulay, the General Manager of Osum Hotel. Mr. Macaulay, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Roland.
The last episode, we talked about how, individuals and managers of institutions, how they should take charge of the development of their staff, and also as individual, you also have a role to play. Do you have any feedback from the last episode?
Yes, I had quite a few feedback from the last episode. There was also positives and also some people telling me to vary my tone. I'm new to podcasting, I'm learning how it works as well. Well, there was lots of positives. I had ex-staff, ex-employees, ex-colleagues, current staff reaching out to me, telling me they enjoyed some of the feedback, so it was good.
Okay, thank you very much. And I also have something to say because for me, the last time I also have a lot of people coming up to me, oh, this is very good. I've learned something from Mr. Cyril. I hope I learned some more from him in the next coming episode. So that's a good one. I know the things we'll discuss here today is something that we get to know with people because you are on top of situation here at Osum Hotel, and the business is booming because people now are saying this, that it's gradually moving than how it was before you as general manager.
I have to say that's a very positive statement about the state of our business. I also have to say that we've moved from a negative business to a positive business.
Yes.
So that's been down to hard work of the team, because it's not just a one-man show. We all manage this business together, and also the community here in McKinney. We've had a lot of support from the community, so that helped galvanize our business and made our business strong. So we're in a good place today because of the hard work of everyone.
Awesome. And in the last episode, you stressed about how the managers should take charge of their, the learning or the development of their employees.
Absolutely.
And so for this question now, it says, what role does self-directed learning play in skill development, and how can individuals effectively take charge of their learning journey? The individuals now.
This is the individual, so you're pushing me towards individual-focused development.
Yes.
This is all around self-directed learning, how people can build themselves and strengthen themselves in training. Now, in a country where resources are low, as in Sierra Leone, I always advise people to focus on the resources that you have around you. Make sure they are current. One of the challenges we face in Sierra Leone, we have a lot of dated content. Mm-hmm. So things that are no longer relevant in the current world. Yeah. And I see learning material from decades that are still in place that people used to learn.
Exactly.
I believe strongly that people need to understand what the current situations are in markets, what the current trends are in businesses, and put themselves in the position to learn those rather than what's already existing in the country. And it's something that I'm actually approaching it from a local content perspective, looking at the people we have and how they can do it. And it's all well and good me saying, oh, you have to strategize, you have to plan yourself, you have to do that. But not a lot of our people have the competency and the capacity to do it, even with the materials that they have. So guidance comes a lot into this, finding the right people to guide you. Finding the right material to be guided on.
Sure.
And I also believe the self-vested interest, because how do I put it? I don't want to be insulting to anyone, but at the same time, I'm trying to let people understand that they need to take the ownership themselves on this.
Self-awareness, kind of. This is what I want. Yes.
Absolutely. They have to have that self-awareness for them to to actually go out and find what they need to learn and be better at and develop themselves.
Yeah. So again, as you mentioned, in Sierra Leone, everything is outdated. Is there any place or directory that you send people to go and search for topics so that they develop themselves?
The internet plays a big part. Internet plays a big part in getting resources. I mean, we don't have encyclopedias anymore. And I actually went to someone's house recently where there was a whole shelf of encyclopedias. And he uses it, or the person uses it as a form of demonstrating knowledge. And I said to him, this is my phone. Everything you can find there, I can get from my phone. So what does that show, But I believe that the perception here is the more books you have, the more knowledgeable you are. So there is the internet where people can draw inspiration from.
Yeah, I remember in the first episode you talked about how the people should actually weigh in their weaknesses, like you analyze your weaknesses. Yeah. And also this plays a critical role, especially to this question, like you need to be aware of yourself. This is what I can do and this is what I cannot do. So in order for me to stay relevant in this current trend, I need to do this and this.
And this is where these social media influencers come into play, and it's a shame we don't have a lot of them who are focused around academics or skill specific.
Exactly, Jim.
It would have been so much better if we had scientists and carpenters and electricians and engineers who actually develop contents that people can learn from. And it's not the Chinese content or the Indian content or those international one where you see a guy, an engineer. It resonates more when it's local content, when you see someone who's in the next town, in the next village, actually creating something that shows you, oh, I can do this myself. That would be so much more inspirational. Yes. I believe where government should focus to reach the grassroots level is actually using influencers online, even if they're paid, to generate these contents that support local businesses, local creativity. Those are strong ways of developing strength and capacity within our society than telling them go on this course, go on that course. Because let's face it, the current academic level is not that high, so not a lot of them have that focus. But you open up a smartphone and stick it on TikTok, I guarantee you, they will be there and they'll focus on it.
If you check the social media platform in Sierra Leone, you see more of things that are not relevant. Yeah. This point is actually relevant, and the one you just highlighted, like let's have influencers in these areas, create content, direct people on how to do this.
Exactly.
If you, for example, now I want to, if I have my printer that is stuck, I want to repair it, you go to the internet, you find this stuff. European countries, they do this thing. In Sierra Leone, you don't find this content on the internet. So, I mean, that is why when it comes to skill development in this country, the ratio is very, very low. So, Mr. Asiri, let's go to the next question. It says, how can organizations foster a culture of continuous learning, benefiting both employee and the company as a whole? I remember, yes.
This one I would always stick to my point, and I believe it's both sides. Both sides have to play a part in it. Yeah. I give you an example. We have someone now in our kitchen who's actually IT literate.
Okay.
We need her to develop her skills to reach to a certain standard, which my expectations are. I can only expect that person to develop themselves so much. Yeah. Me as a business leader or the employer need to invest in that person's development as well.
Okay.
This is where I always say it's a two-way thing. You cannot say this person needs to go and improve themselves and stuff, especially when they're within my organization. So a year ago, my kitchen lead could not read. Was not IT literate. Now I have someone who can work on Excel, do presentations.
Wow.
So, and that's all through empowering themselves, learning themselves, and then the employer giving the support.
Exactly.
Because this is paramount.
The platform, yeah.
Exactly, this is paramount. And then you need to reward or recognize these people's achievement, because they can't be doing it and not seeing any benefits at the end. You need to acknowledge, okay, you were here this month, you were here this month, you know, we really appreciate you, recognize you. This is why we have our Employee of the Month awards. We recognize our staff every month, and we don't just do one staff, because you go to some businesses, you have one guy on the wall who's the Employee of the Month, but I do not believe that's right, because people are great in so many aspects of the work that you need to recognize them as well. So we have 3 different sections which are based on our 3 different values in the business.
Awesome.
People who attain or go excel beyond our expectation on any one of those levels are rewarded and recognized. You know, so I believe recognition plays a very big part in it, and they should also be rewarded for it, because you cannot, hey Adama, you go this month, so you try, you go next month, but hey Adama, you try back, Adama, you try back. There has to be something given to Adama for her to understand that yes, she has delivered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you just joining in, this is Sabi Something podcast with me, Ulan Kamara, and I'm here with Mr. Sigil Makoli, the general manager of Wasum Hotel. And if you're wondering how to foster, continuous learning in your workplace, Mr. Sigil, I've just highlighted this for you. Create a rewarding system, like incentive. Someone creates a rewarding system, giving incentive to these guys, recognizing them each month or by quarter or per year, so that they stay focused and motivated. Because the reality is, Mr. Seal, if you all the time I keep doing something and I'm not recognized, I feel, my motivation gets low, the energy gets low.
It gets down. And one of the aspects we do, which is something I do personally, is I always take time to show them what that growth, the impacts that growth causes in my business. My guys never understood how to read their financial figures at the end of the year. They didn't understand where we were making profits and loss at the end of the year. Now I tell them, because of you doing X, Y, Z, this is the bottom line that you've created there. This actually pushes them to do more, because they see in numbers their impact of their growth in the business. You know, and sometimes we underestimate the self-satisfaction of you achieving something. You know, they are part of this big monster called Wasum Hotel. Sometimes people, they come into work every day, go home every day, sometimes not understanding what part they play. Now, when we take time to show them their impact in the business, they feel part of the family. This is my effect in Wasum Hotel. This is what I have. This is what's been achieved because of me. You know, so these are the things we play to motivate and keep them training themselves and develop themselves continually.
Like making them aware of what their contribution.
Yes.
We've achieved this as a company or as an organization, but this is
the part you played in this achievement. I sit and I talk to them. One of the departments, being a foodie, I always spend time with the F&B department, and it's one of the areas where we have a lot of challenge, because customer service is where we need to focus, and producing the right quality for the right people at the right time as well is something which we try to focus on. And every Monday, Wednesday and Friday I sit down with them. Even if I'm not in the country, I'd call in on the WhatsApp. When I can't make it, they would send me an update on the group, say, Jim, this is what we spoke about today, blah blah blah. Or if I need the managers to bring up something that I believe has an impact on the team, we do that. The other departments do that as well with their teams as well. So once you foster that culture of inclusion,
that's exactly what I want to say.
It brings so much benefits to your business.
And then you not being in-office leader, like Lizafel leader, you always sit and demand or command this to happen. You go down. In fact, this is something I used to talk with my manager here, that Jim, we go down. Sometimes they meet in a restaurant, they monitor what's in there happen. You know, but we have people in other workplaces, Jim, they're always at their offices.
I think it's a personal approach. I give you an example. So this morning, today is not my floor day. It's day for me to catch up on paperwork in the office and everything. Going through the emails, I saw an email about one of our events where they have raised a quality issue in regards to water quality, and I dropped everything and went straight down there to speak to the guys. What's the challenge? I hear you have a challenge with water. The water is no good. We know this guy. The water says, what's not good about the water? The taste and everything.
Okay.
So I said to them, I like the fact that you've raised this, but unfortunately for me, you guys are the first people who've raised this up since we started using this supply in September. So I need to find out why. And then the guy said, oh, na makeni abone, I know this water no good.
Okay.
So I challenged him. I said, what water do you drink at home? I will go and buy it for you now, just to keep you happy. He could not say. So I said to him, we have a policy in Husum Hotel. We would buy local first before we go anywhere else. If that supply is in Makeni, he's the first person we would use. It's the first business we would approach. If it doesn't work, then we'll go elsewhere. But you're telling me to go and buy a water from Freetown. Does it make sense for me to drive thousands of bottles of water when I have supplier in Makeni who employs local staff in Makeni, whose money goes back into the economy in Makeni? I rather spend my money to this guy that would build business, create more jobs for people than elsewhere.
Outsourcing.
Exactly. So that helped me educate my team as to how you have that approach, because their first instinct was to go and buy another water to bring in. Then you realize that it wasn't actually the water they had a problem with. They wanted something else,
Also,
they wanted something else.
This is a great learning curve for the staff.
And they were happy as well, because I've saved them the hassle of going out to find all the water to come in. But through continuous learning, continuous development.
I believe this is a good approach. So, as a manager of an institution, kindly take this down. Probably you might not be doing this before. You can start doing this one, and then you will see the changes in your workplace. And also, there is this thing that while I was at YMCA, we implemented the thing of a social night, like getting employees to go out on social occasion. That's also fosters.
It does. It fosters bond. It fosters unity.
Yes.
What we tend to do, we haven't done the going out thing yet. But we organize events throughout the year that are for the staff, and we involve the community in it. I always believe, and I will always believe, our business is a community business. So whatever we do as staff, we need to involve the community in it. So you look at things like Eid. We will organize Eid parties for our staff, and we invite the community in. You look at things like the Christmas. This Christmas we're planning. One, we have the staff award ceremony for the yearly staff award ceremony. We also have the Christmas party, which we're organizing for the children of the staff. But we're not just going to limit it there. We're going to bring children from outside as well. So these things build a community within our business and makes it stronger, and then it gives commitment from the staff, because they would want to stay and be involved in things like this.
So thank you very much. I think we've made justice to that particular question. The next one is GM. In a world of rapid technological advancement, how can individual future-proof their career through strategic skill development?
Future-proofing your career just comes to knowing what the future trends are and then learning. I believe I'm a testament to actually future-proofing my career and learning and then being where I am, because, like I said, my daughter still calls me chef because she grew up with dad wearing whites to go to work every day. And after that, I went into operations, managing several businesses, different type of businesses, because I looked at what was ahead of me, trained myself into getting the necessary skills, and then moving into those positions successfully. Hotels has always been my passion, and here I am doing a dream job, in Sierra Leone, so this is where I think people would say you can have your cake and eat it, but I am actually doing something I enjoy, and I'm seeing the reward because the business is growing, it's building, because I had looked ahead, identified the skills I need, and then train myself to it.
GM, this point is particularly for Sierra Leoneans. The reality is, in as much as the world is digital now, but we are still in the analog stage. I'm telling you, Sierra Leoneans are still analog in everything. So, yeah.
I was walking past, what's it called, Government Wharf, where they sell the books and stuff.
Yes.
And I remember in the 80s when I was in school here, they used to have, for studying English, you know,
yes.
this book there, and I'm walking past and I saw this blue cover, and I laughed. You know, I couldn't stop laughing, and the reason why I was laughing is because I remember all the issues, not issues, the things that happened while we learning, studying English, and the teachers that we worked with, you know, at the time. But it brought back so many good memories. What really scared me what really scared me was the fact that all these years, I can't believe that you can have the same textbook be relevant.
Even when the world has gone past that.
I can't believe the same textbook can be relevant. But more so that the Ministry of Education or the people in charge of learning should identify that kids now go online. They go on their MySpace or their webs or wherever they do, and they see the English and the words that are written now in the way that they're written now. So you can't have those dated texts and modern texts in the same sphere. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Now those things should be considered as they should move on to history lessons.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You should be having something that's current and modern, so that we prepare our people for employment and the rest of the world. You know.
You know, this is why up till now we are still lagging behind so many things, Jim. Even for some of us, I came from the NGO field. I served for about 8 years as a coordinator, program coordinator, and an executive director of an NGO. Jim, with all this experience, you know, having built communities for international NGOs on LinkedIn, when you apply for positions, GM, believe you me, these guys living in Europe with 2 years of experience, you end up having these jobs, leaving us with 10 years experience in Africa just because they think that we are not up to date.
It's not just a perception thing, it's a reality.
It's a reality, yeah.
Because I remember employing Sierra Leoneans while I was in the Middle East. And I pushed my general manager at the time, said, look, we have people in Sierra Leone who can work, and I was looking at the bottom line, you know, they will deliver based on, you know, what we require. And we recruited them, came over, and I'm sorry to say they did not meet the profile I was expecting. Drivers could not drive, waiters could not wait, admin staff could not even read properly or write properly. You know, it was a headache for me, you know, and I had gone ahead and talked about how brilliant the education system was. Well, in hindsight, I should have come to Sierra Leone at the time and do my
the first-hand experience.
I did it, you know. So, but yeah, there is a massive challenge for our people applying for international jobs, or even local jobs here when you have so much competition internationally, you know. And I always tell my staff, I want you guys to be at the same level with my ex-staff, so that when you guys all sit around the table, you guys will speak the same language. I don't want you guys to feel any less than they are, because I know the quality of staff. I mean, I've got a couple here at the moment. I know the quality of ex-staff I had outside of Sierra Leone. And I know my staff have not attained to that level yet, probably because of the learnings and education system we have.
Yeah, so this is a problem. That's because we are not up to date. So this is an advice to all Sierra Leoneans, particularly Sierra, because I know our people there. They don't invest in themselves. Invest in yourself.
I mean, let's be honest. For me, it's been a challenge for myself. I tried to renew my membership at Institute of Hospitality in November when I was back home, and I couldn't, because there are courses and stuff I've not been up to date with and all that stuff. So even myself, I lag behind on my personal training. The environment does not always generally help. This is where I say businesses have to support the workers as well. You know,
exactly.
This is where probably having a very strong human resources department comes into play, because they can support, you know, and say, look, by the end of this month we need to do this and this, so you know, you guys can grow. So people who would like to but don't have the zeal or the energy to do it, the HR can kick them up and get them to do it, you know.
Okay, thank you. If you're just joining in, this is Sabi Something Podcast with me, Roland Kamara. It's hosted on Spotify. You can get us on Amazon Music, Boomplay, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and all of the podcast sites you know of. check them out and listen to our podcast. This is Continuous Learning and Skills Development, episode 2, with the general manager of our Osum Hotel, Mr. Sigel Macaulay. This question is like giving your own personal experience, because I know at some point in time you might have been overwhelmed with certain things, certain work, or responsibilities, and then you are not able to like meet up to the current trend, because you just gave an example. So what advice do you have for someone feeling overwhelmed by the multitude of skills to learn, and how can they prioritize and manage their learning journey effectively? It's like
it's a hard one, because sometimes you dig in. You yourself think, I need to do this, I need to complete this, but for some reason you just can't. I always have the SAS model I follow. SASS, I follow that model every time. I would stop. Whatever you're doing that's not working, stop.
Okay.
Stop, and then you assess yourself.
Okay.
Assess and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what's going wrong. How can I correct it? Assess yourself. Do an evaluation of yourself. Yeah? When you've done all that evaluation, take a step back and then you strategize. Say, okay, I need to just start with this again. Then after that, I move on to that. After that, I move on to that. And then you start again. So if you follow that model, I believe it helps, because even on my day-to-day work, not just on my assessments or my training, I always put the brakes on it, press the red button, stop. Stop. And then you assess yourself, say, okay, this is what my aims and objectives are. I'm not achieving it. What do I do to achieve it? Assess, evaluate, say, okay, make a plan, and strategize. Say, okay, so we will start with this now. I'll spend 1 week doing this. By the end of 1 week, I should have finished this and move on to this. And then,
Jim, we have an adage in Koyo local dialect, which is, by the time the Mara is too late. I think this is the problem. This model is actually good. I've copied it now. Like, you need to actually stop yourself, assess yourself.
You stop yourself, yes.
Assess.
Yes. If you don't do that self-evaluation, I keep telling you, I used to have someone who constantly evaluates me. And honestly, at the start, I found it negative. Thought, why do you want to critique every single thing? And then I realized that I could use it to my advantage.
Yeah.
When I'm criticizing something, I take note of it, I work on it, I see a positive response, and I move on. Always stop, always assess. Once you've assessed, strategize. This is how I'm going to go about it, and then you start again. And then you probably see you have a good breakthrough.
If you're a manager listening, you're a director of an institution, take this into consideration, because most of the time we don't do this thing. We don't evaluate, we don't assess anything. All we do is move forward. Let's press on. And there comes in this adage, by the time you marry, it's too late. You keep pressing on. By the time you notice that, no, this thing is wrong, you're too late, you've gone too far, and then you can't reverse. You failed in life. I think this is the problem with our ancestors, because I'll say it like this. So that's why this current generation, or those that are alive now, take this into cognizance. Always evaluate yourself. Stop and then see that, okay, what I've been doing, it's not working. Let me take this next step. It might work. So thank you, GM. And then, you are in the hospitality industry. So are there specific industries or professionals where continuous learning is particularly crucial, and why?
I'll say all industries have to have some form of continuous learning. You can't be in a business where you don't learn from the things that have happened, the things that are currently happening, and future trends that's going to happen. Like you say, if you know Sabusa, you dey go, no say you come out. Learning from your past and your mistake, that's one very strong aspect of any strong leader, because then you can apply corrective actions to things that are bound to happen. Understanding what's going on around you now helps you make better decisions for the business moving forward. Being aware of what's coming ahead, at least future innovations, future trends, future opportunities, makes you a great leader of an institution or organization, because then you can guide your people into where you're going, or set them up with the necessary tools. Do we need this equipment so we can be able to go into that new project? Do we need this new idea or this new person? It might be a tool that you need to move into that next phase of it. These are the things that you have to do. It goes without saying, you have to. Whatever industry you find yourself.
I think that is one of the reasons, you are actually doing well here, because we've worked for some time now, and I understand that you always like, okay, I want to stay ahead of things. Let me look at what is not happening and bring these ideas there. Because if you look at other managers of other hotels in Sierra Leone, they are not doing what you are doing here. Getting young people to bring up ideas and support them, so you see that all of the other benefits will come to your business. They are not doing it in Sierra Leone.
But I believe what you say is right, because it does help me in my business. Last night we went to one of our local food suppliers to buy food to see what they have on show, just so that we can evaluate what they're doing and all that stuff. And they're like, hey Jim, you can't come buy Tommy today again? So yes. Now, she sees me as a customer. I see her as a possible competitor, because when people come to my hotels in the evening, they want snacks, they want stuff like that. They drive down there to get it. If I can provide this here for them, it's an added benefit for me, you know. So I do put myself in the position where I'm continuously learning what's going on around me, what's going to possibly come, you know, and most importantly, what's happened before. Because if they're good things, you can carry them with you. If they're not so good things, then you learn from them and try not to repeat it.
Yeah,
you know. So
exactly. So it's a continuous process. Always stay abreast with what is coming. Set your goals and know what you want to achieve. Absolutely. And always, it's like in Kongosa, you gotta be Kongosa person, so you know what's in the camp ahead. Stay ahead of something in the industry you find yourself in. Nothing is too hard to achieve. You know, and you know what we are doing now currently is this is a new media, Jim. You find out that most people see this as strange. We are doing this thing is strange. When we usually tell people that we have an app, now you don't have to carry your TV everywhere, because you can't even carry your TV everywhere. So since you have your phone, we broadcast to electronic devices, and so wherever you are, you can access our stuff. And then even for the radio, you don't have to carry your radio with you. Just have your phone and you open the app, the Leraning Media app, then you'll be able to listen to our content. I talked to the Secretary General of Slash. He was like, wow, send for me the app. Everybody send for me this. Oh, this is very good. So you need to stay ahead. But for most people, what we are doing is like, this is our child's play. They don't even understand that in as much as the country is still analog, but we want to stay ahead. When they move to digital, we are there now. This is what I used to tell them.
Having vision is a powerful thing. Having vision is a powerful thing, which is why people like yourself, I believe, would excel in the future. Understanding where the market is going is key. I see other people who do media that you do as well locally, and I see some of the challenges, because some of them still try to capture the old market, as in the analog market. You know, moving ahead opens up your horizons to be a bigger base of consumers who can consume your product. So please don't stop doing what you're doing, because I believe it's a good thing.
Thank you, GM. So, what will be your final message?
I'd like to say for my colleagues out there who are having challenges in managing team, developing team, making sure they're engaged in the business, we need to take ownership of that and support our staff in doing that, and also let them understand that it's beneficial for them to grow and learn while they're on the job, and also show them what their growth impacts, or what impacts their growth have in your business, because then that lets them understand that myself they play parts in this business and really go, you know. They learn what they learn, they change things for the business. So I want to be part of this change. I want to be part of this experience. We have to take ownership and help them help themselves. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Is Mr. Sigel Macaulay, the General Manager for Wasum Hotel. I've been your host, Roland Kamara, and this is Sabi Something Podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.